first off, we'll start with the kick drum. Some kick drums have ports, meaning like a little hole in there in the front of the head, and in that case you can sometimes run a microphone all the way into the back of the drum head and get some beater sound there, or you can have a mic in the middle or on the outside. It really just depends on what it sounds like and what sound you're going for. Microphone choice as well, it's the same kind of deal. You're using microphones and the tones that those microphones have to capture what you're looking for, or to cut and reduce some of the sounds that you aren't looking for. We decided to go with the SM7B on the kick drum to see how that sounds. Another mic I might try is a ribbon mic. You know, if you're going for a really warm, hump on your kick drum hits, you can probably go with some different microphones. But anyway, we got the kick drum mic about 3 inches away, 2 inches away from the kick drum head. One thing to be wary of with the kick drums is they sometimes walk forward. So, always be listening to your tracks and double checking after each take and make sure you're not hearing some weird staticky rubbing sounds from the kick drum walking into the front of the drum mic. We have the toms mic'd here with SM57s, and kind of facing directly into the drum head and getting as close as we can with these near the edge. You always want to be weary of where the drumsticks are going to be flying. So as the drummer's playing, you want to have this microphone out of the direction of their sticks. The SM57s that we have on the snare drum, we got the top and the bottom there, and they're like an inch away from the drum head, kind of coming off the side. And you can play around with these. I mean, honestly, there's no right and wrong way to do any of this. So if it sounds good, it's right. If it sounds super weird and it works with your style and your thing, there's nothing wrong with that either. We're using a small diaphragm Octava mic for the hi-hat. And if you notice, I've got the hi-hat mic kind of angled away from the drum kit. Microphones with their cardioid pattern most of the time pick up from the front of the mic the strongest, and around the sides and the back it starts to diminish. So I'm trying to keep bleed from the rest of the drum kit at a minimum. So I've got this hi-hat mic kind of angled away from the drum kit. Beta 52A mic, which I'm using because a lot of times that beater's a little bright and slappy, and I'm going to try to get kind of a warmer punch to that kick. Overhead wise, there are 2 small diaphragm condensers as overheads, and what you're trying to do is capture in stereo the sound resonating off of the top of the drum kit. So if you look at, if you're doing a stereo pair like this, you can have them apart, on separate mic stands, and you're kind of shooting down at one half of the drum surface area and then another half of the drum surface area. So this one's capturing mostly like tom and hi-hat and crash, and this is kind of capturing a little bit of that stuff, but mainly focusing on this tom and these crash cymbals. Another thing you can do is get a mic clip mount that does a XY, and you can just have these 2 small diaphragm condensers on one mic split apart in stereo. And that sometimes helps with the phasing, because basically you have 2 microphones capturing the same instrument sound, and whenever you have 2 microphones on the same sound, you're going to have to check out phasing and listen for it or adjust for it in post. So something to be listening for as you sound check and see how these drums sound and fine tune things. So another tip about miking drums is you can use your ears. If you're trying to figure out where's the best place to place a mic on the snare drum or the kick drum or hi-hat or something like that, listen around, play the drum, move your ears around from corner to corner and listen for the differences in the tones. And if it's bright and you want it to be dark, use a microphone that accents the dark end of sounds. If you want something to be brighter that's too dark, use a microphone that's very bright sounding. So knowing your microphones and having kind of a lot of diversity in your mic cabinet, different mics that have different tones, bright and dark, basically EQ the drums without having to use EQ and post-production tools.